The Local Show, featuring conversations with business owners, employees, and local business leaders about their successes, challenges, and reasons for doing business. Right here in Central New York. The Local Show is locally produced by Zoe Advertising. Now your hosts, Tom and Steve.
Back at it again. You found Tom and Steve on The Local Show. It's great spending some time with you. You know what?
What?
You know what happens at this time of year, too? The grapes are really ripe. Some of those good.
Are you a fan?
Flumpy. I'm not a fruit guy to begin with, but my wife loves to buy the grapes. So the other night we were snacking on them because she said it's better than chips, and I thought, well, she's got a point.
There's still carbohydrates. I don't know that.
Yeah, there's a little.
And put a little cheese with
sugar
it.
Sugar is sugar, no matter what.
How do you access? Just straight up.
Yeah, I was just straight up, but they were so good, and I thought, wow, this is pretty nice. And I'm just surprised that I don't like wine more than I do. My father, who was a glass of wine every night,
right?
Sometimes 4, and for forever. And a lot of my family did that. My grandmother, Murator, she used to have the dandelion wine. Boy. And
I had a friend years ago that she made that.
Yeah.
That you could get wine from it. It was dandelion wine.
Dandelion
one of your people,
wine.
Tom.
Yeah.
It was one of your people.
Well, anyway, that kind of dovetails into our next guest here. Paul Alteri is with us, or we know him as Paolo. And
we would be you.
Yeah. Alteri Winery. How are you there, Paul?
I'm very well, thank you.
Good. What side of town are you from? Are you from around here? Or?
No, I'm from up north, Watertown.
Watertown. Okay. Well,
in Watertown.
Right in Watertown.
Right in it.
Right
okay.
in the city. Right in actually the Sand Flats. That's the part of the of Watertown where all the Italians settled in.
Interesting.
When they came here, my father when he came over from Italy, and
that's where you guys went out to Watertown.
It's called the Sand Flats because it's geographically, it's the lowest part of the city. Mm-hmm. But if you put a spade in the ground, you're going to come up with sand.
With sand, really?
Yeah.
So. Now you can grow grapes there?
No.
In the sand?
No, the grapes don't. But I'll tell you what, the tomatoes are fantastic. Yeah. Everybody had a garden back when I was a kid.
Yeah,
absolutely.
So when you came over, were you born here or born in Italy?
I was born here. My father was born over in Italy.
So you're born here. What was your first job before you got into having the winery?
My parents owned a bakery.
Oh, okay.
They started an Italian bakery. So that for my first 30 years of my life, I was in the bakery.
Are you guys going to break any stereotypes here at all?
No, that's
just Steve, keep rolling.
Steve, you're out.
You know what I haven't, since my grandmother passed, I have not had a good ricotta pie.
No?
I could go for a ricotta.
I call it regatta. Am I wrong?
Yes.
Okay, there we go.
Yes. But, the ricotta, and that is just, people don't even understand that, you have an Italian make you one of those pies.
Absolutely.
You've eaten good. So do they still have the bakery? Or is it?
Well, actually, little story to that.
Yeah.
We sold the bakery back in the early 2000s. We started it, Dad opened it in 71.
Gotcha.
And we have Fort Drum in Watertown.
Yeah.
So when Fort Drum expanded, a lot of the national chains moved into Watertown.
Yeah.
And, the supermarkets were selling their loaves of bread for, at that time, 75 cents a loaf.
Right.
And we couldn't compete.
Yeah.
We were the only Italian bakery still in town. Mm. And so Mom and Dad sold the bakery.
Yes.
And the people who bought it drove it right in the ground within 5 years. They shut it down. So my brother Mark, he's number 3 in our family. He started a few years back. He opened up not just a bakery because we couldn't from the previous sale within 50 miles. So instead, he opened up an Italian market. It's called Alteri's Italian Market. It's right off 81 in Watertown.
Boy, I have to remember that.
Arsenal, Bradley.
Bradley Street.
Okay.
Good.
But in that market, he's also got the bakery in there. He's got a butcher shop. He sells pizzas.
Got fresh prosciutto?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Nice.
Definitely.
Have to go out
Got to have
there.
that.
Does he sell wine?
No.
Okay.
No, when I got my wine license, the state, I guess they wouldn't let me sell it in the bakery. I guess I can't sell it where there's food being sold. So, I mean, that just made sense. That was my whole game plan, We've got my daughter's gelato business in the bakery. I wanted my wine business in there, too.
So how did you come up with the wine? How did that happen, the whole thing?
I blame my 2 sons. Yeah. They're both in the Navy. And
the Italian?
Yeah, a little bit. My oldest son is Santino, and my youngest son is Vincenzo. Well, Santino is a Sicilian name.
Oh, yes, yeah.
But since 1989, my father and I and my uncle were making our homemade wine and giving it to everybody in the flats and just enjoying it ourselves. last year, both my boys said, "Dad, you got to start selling this wine." And I said, "I don't want. No, I don't want to get into that." No, you have to. So I caved, and they convinced me. They did all the labeling on the wine and whatnot, and so I just make it.
Very nice.
That's how I got into it.
So YouTube folks can see the pretty label here.
Right.
Nice bottle of red. So what is different about your wine than lots of wine that's out there?
Doesn't touch a machine. I'll tell you that. It's all handmade. I do everything by hand.
Really?
Even bottle it by hand.
You got the women out there doing squishing the grapes with the feet?
My grandmother passed away, and my wife wants nothing to do with that. But she does the labeling for me.
Okay.
And my daughters.
And where is the vineyard then?
I get my grapes from Italy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I don't grow my own.
So you don't have a big vineyard?
No.
So you buy grapes or crush, or what do you get from Italy?
I get the juice from Italy.
Okay.
For the reds, the two reds, the Amarone and the Sangiovese. But for my Riesling, I wanted something different for that. I'm not a white wine guy, I'll tell you that right now. But, I can't just make red. Right. So we wanted to do a Riesling, but I wanted it to be different. So I made a dry Riesling. Most people like sweet. But I did the dry, and I tried it with California grapes, and I didn't care for it. And again, I'm not a white wine guy, so I tried New York grapes.
Right.
Perfect.
Yeah.
I liked it. So that was my judge.
Out of the Finger Lakes?
Out of the Finger Lakes, I did.
Yes,
so my Riesling wine is made with New York grapes. And I like that because, Dad, growing up, pounded it in our heads, us four boys, support your local businesses.
Sure.
That's what, they're buying our bread, you go to their restaurant, that type of thing. So I wanted something anyway locally, New York, and so it worked out well.
So a dry Riesling, that seems like jumbo shrimp. It seems like a Riesling is sweet. So how do you have a dry Riesling?
I don't know. I didn't even know it existed until I tried it and I experimented with it. And if I liked it, I thought it was good then because I'm not a white wine guy.
Yeah.
And it's flying.
So where can people get Alteri wine? Where can they get this?
Believe it or not, I'm in Syracuse.
Where are you in Syracuse?
I'm in two liquor stores. I'm in the Harborview liquor store.
I know well. We used to be the second floor.
Exactly.
You're selling to Tim over there.
Exactly. When I went there, when I met Tim, and he told me, and I forgot your name. And I said, they told me that they had a podcast, a show and all this. And he goes, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
So I'm in there, and they're doing well.
Yeah.
And I'm also in Vino Mania.
Oh, yeah, I've heard of that.
Right on Pearl Street.
Yeah.
Gary Decker's place.
That's the one by Columbus Bakery, right?
Yeah, right around, not too far.
Yeah, like right a block there, right where you jump on 81.
Right, exactly. So I'm in those two stores right now as far as the wine goes.
That's good. Now, do you sell online as well?
I do.
A lot of online business?
I'm amazed at how much shipping I've had to do. Arizona, California, down Florida.
Wow.
Which is great. I don't mind it at all. We ship the wine all over.
What are your future plans? Will you always make wine, or will you get into any whiskeys or bourbons or anything like that?
No, I am a bourbon guy.
Yeah.
But no, wine. I do it by myself. So there's no way I can expand as far as that goes. No, I don't have time.
Yeah. So we met up in Henderson Harbor.
That's right.
At the restaurant there, and people were raving. My brother-in-law's a little marginally a wine snob, slightly. So he was like, "Oh," and he's using words I don't know to describe it. And but it was great.
He was the guy I was talking to at the end of the table. Yeah.
That's Alec. And so it was good. And they were like, "We want to get a bottle." And Steve came over as the owner, and it was a great. I
was shocked. I was sitting there, and I go to my wife Adrian. I said, "Look, Steve's delivering a bottle of my wine." It's the first time I've ever seen that happen.
Awesome.
That's why I had to come over and see it.
That is awesome. So Alteri, ALTERIVINI,
right.
wine.
Vini, right? That's plural for wines.
Alteri, .com. And if they wanted to get it, they can find it on their website or go over to Harborview or the Vino. What's in
Vino Mania,
right by Columbus
in Syracuse.
Bakery.
Yeah. Or if you're in Watertown, my license allows me to sell it out of my garage because that's where I make it.
Okay, and they can get that
more
info
than welcome to stop
on the
at
website.
house.
So thanks for joining us.
Not a problem.
We'll talk to you later.
Thanks,
all right.
guys.